Welcome to Everyday English Podcast. Hello and welcome back to the Everyday English Podcast. I'm Anna.
And I'm Mark. Hey everyone, so happy you're here with us today. Okay, Anna, I have a question for you.
Okay, I'm ready. What's your question?
What is the one word that makes English learners feel nervous, stressed, or just want to close their book and watch TV? I'll give you a hint. It starts with G.
Oh no, don't say it. Is it grammar?
Bingo, grammar. For many people, the word grammar sounds like a monster under the bed. I am grammar. I am difficult. I have many rules. But we are here today to show everyone that grammar is not a monster.
Exactly. Welcome to the show, everyone. In this episode, we're talking about how to master English grammar. And I want to say that word again, master. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to feel confident. You need to be the boss of your grammar.
That's right. We are going to give you simple tips, real-life examples, and show you that grammar is just a tool to help people understand your amazing ideas. So let's get started.
Okay, Mark, so let's start with a big question. For our listeners who are just starting with English, what is grammar, in simple words?
Good question. I like to think of grammar like building with Lego bricks. You have a box of Legos. The Lego bricks are your vocabulary, the words. The instructions that tell you how to put the bricks together to make a house or a car, that is grammar.
Oh, I love that analogy, the instructions. So if you put the bricks together in the wrong way, you might make something strange.
Exactly. You might try to build a car, but it looks like a boat. So, good grammar helps your listener understand you quickly and easily. It's about clarity.
Right, it's not about being a stuffy professor. It's about saying, I ate an apple, not me eat apple yesterday. People will understand you, but the second one is confusing. Which brick goes where?
Yes. So today we're going to give you the instruction manual for a few common situations.
Okay, let's jump into real life. Let's talk about talking about your day. This is something we all do, right?
Totally. You meet a friend or you're having dinner with your family and they ask, "How was your day?" Let's practice this. A common mistake is to use the present tense for everything.
Good point. Let's listen to a short example. Imagine I am your friend. Hi, Mark. How was your day?
Hi, Anna. It was good. I work very hard today.
Oh, did you catch that mistake? I work very hard today. Mark, are you still working right now?
No, I'm not. The day is finished. I'm at home relaxing, so I need the past tense.
Yes, I worked very hard today. Just adding that ed changes everything. Let's try again the right way.
Okay, let me try again. Hi, Anna. How are you? My day was busy but good. I worked on a new project and then I walked to the park.
Perfect. I worked, I walked. That's the simple past. It's for finished actions. Today is finished, so use the past.
Another common situation is ordering food. You're hungry, you're at a restaurant, you want to be polite.
Oh, yes, politeness is very important in English. We don't usually say, give me a pizza. It sounds a little bit strong.
Right, it sounds like a command from a king. Give me my pizza now. Instead, we use a simple phrase, can I have or I'd like.
Let's practice. Mark, you are the waiter.
Good evening, welcome to the Everyday English Cafe. What can I get for you today?
Hi, yes please. Can I have a cheeseburger and a lemonade?
Excellent, very natural. Can I have is your best friend in restaurants, cafes, and even at a friend's house. Can I have a glass of water, please?
And the magic word, please. Always use please. It makes everything better.
Okay, situation number 3, making plans with a friend. This is where we use the present continuous tense a lot.
Good example. Let's say it's Saturday morning. You want to hang out with me. You can call me and say, hey Anna, what are you doing later?
Hey Anna, it's Mark. What are you doing this afternoon?
Oh, hi Mark. I'm meeting Sarah for coffee at 2 p.m., but I'm free after that.
Perfect. I am meeting. That's the present continuous. We use it for plans we already made. It's like saying, I have an arrangement.
Yes. And then you can say, oh, okay. Maybe we can meet at 4? And just like that, you're making plans using good grammar and it feels natural.
Okay, we've talked about real situations. Now let's talk about the grammar gremlins. These are small mistakes that are very, very common.
Oh, I love that name. Grammar gremlins. Let's catch 'em.
Number 1 gremlin, he go or she eat. This is the S rule. In the present tense with he, she, or it, the verb needs an S.
Right. We say I eat, you eat, we eat, but she eats. We say they go, but he goes. It's a small sound, but it makes a big difference.
Practice with me, listeners. Repeat after me quietly. My mother works hard. My brother plays football. Great job.
Gremlin number 2 is a very famous one. There, and there. They sound the same, but they are totally different.
Yes, let's break it down slowly. There, this is about place, like here and there. The book is over there. There, this is possession. It means belonging to them. That is their house. There, this is a shortcut. It means they are. They're my best friends.
A quick trick. If you can say they are in the sentence, use there. If you can't, don't use the apostrophe. For example, I like their dog. Can you say, I like they are dog? No. So it must be there.
And gremlin number 3, it's versus its. This confuses even native speakers sometimes.
This is a tricky one. It's, with an apostrophe, always means it is or it has. For example, it's raining outside. It is raining. It's, without an apostrophe, shows possession. The dog ate its food. The food belongs to the dog.
So remember, if you mean it is, use the apostrophe. If you mean belongs to it, no apostrophe.
Let's do a quick practice round. I'll say a sentence and you say the correct word, okay? First one. I love this phone. It's very fast.
It is very fast. So the answer is it's.
Correct. Second one. Look at the bird. Its feathers are blue.
The feathers belong to the bird, so it's, no apostrophe. I'm getting good at this.
Okay, so we've talked about the what. Now let's talk about the how. How can our listeners really master this? Mark, what's your number 1 tip?
My number 1 tip is don't study grammar rules for hours. That is boring. Instead, listen and read a lot.
Yes, this is called input. When you listen to our podcast or watch English TV shows or read simple books, your brain starts to learn the patterns naturally. You hear she goes so many times that she go starts to sound wrong to your ears.
Exactly. It's like learning a song. You don't learn the music theory first. You just listen to the song 100 times, and then you can sing it. Grammar is the same. Listen to the music of English.
Tip number 2, speak every day, even if it's just to yourself.
I talk to myself in the mirror all the time, but seriously, speaking helps you find your weak points. You might think, I don't know how to say this idea. Then, after you speak, you can look up the grammar rule you needed.
Right, and a great way to do this is to describe what you are doing. If you're cooking, say to yourself, I am cutting the onion. Now I put the onion in the pan. You're using grammar in real time.
Love that. Tip number 3, keep a mistake notebook.
Oh, that's a good one. Not just a notebook for rules, but a notebook for your mistakes.
Yes, whenever someone corrects you or you notice a mistake in your writing, write it down. On one side, write the wrong sentence. On the other side, write the correct sentence. Wrong, he go to school. Right, he goes to school.
That makes the mistake personal to you. It's more powerful than a book. And review that notebook every weekend.
And finally, use technology, but carefully. There are great apps like the British Council's Learn English Grammar app that have games and quizzes for English learners.
But don't trust the computer 100%. Apps like Grammarly are helpful, but they don't always understand your meaning. You are the boss, remember?
Okay, it's time for our practice and recap corner. This is where we go slow. We repeat the key phrases so you can practice with us. Anna, what are our top phrases for today?
First, for ordering food or asking for things politely. Can I have? Let's say it together, slowly.
Can I have?
Good. Can I have a coffee, please?
Second, for talking about your day in the past. I worked. I walked. I studied. Remember the ED ending. Let's practice one. I watched a movie last night. Repeat. I watched a movie last night.
Great. Third, remember the S for he, she, it. She works. He plays. It rains.
And finally, our gremlin fix. There, there, there.
Write these down, everyone. Stick them on your fridge. Well, Mark, we have come to the end of another episode. How are you feeling about grammar now?
I feel great. I think grammar is just a friend that helps us. It's not a monster.
That's right. Remember, everyone, mastering English grammar is a journey. You don't have to be perfect today. Just try to be 1% better than yesterday. Listen, speak, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how we learn.
Thank you so much for listening to the Everyday English podcast.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our channel.
You can also tell us your biggest challenge with grammar. What is the hardest rule for you? Let us know.
Keep practicing your English every day, even just 5 minutes. You can do it.
Bye for now, everyone.
Take care and see you next time.